win last week, Coach. Just kind of touch on that and then look forward to next week.
No, certainly. Yeah, it was. Anytime we can get a win at home and in front of a great crowd, and I would tell you that as you start learning who you are as a football team, and to have some perseverance and some mental toughness about you as well as some physical toughness, I thought our team showed that. I mean, there was no panic. We were down by 17. I probably was more panicked than they were, but there was still a good vibe. Defense was running on the field after the turnovers in the first quarter. The offense still had some good body language, and so very pleased with that. And you look at this. We were looking at this morning, and yesterday in the first quarter we go punt, fumble, interception, fumble, interception, interception. Okay, now one of them was a punt return punt return fumble. And then the next 5 drives, you go touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown. Okay. Then besides that, in the fourth quarter, we're trying to run the clock down, and if we score, great. If not, flip the field. So that tells me that we have the ability. That tells me that we got a good offensive line. We've got a good run scheme. Our quarterback can add to that mix. Our running backs are running hard. And, but we've got to take care of the football. We've got to be more efficient. We've got to play a lot cleaner. And then defensively, very proud of our defense. When you look at those stats, really, Samford only had the one drive at the end of the game where they went the length of the field. Beside that, short fields, or short fields. But, to hold them to, 257 yards, net of, 50 yards rushing. To get the 2 picks, was big against a pretty potent offense over the years. So very pleased with that. I think another statistic, we held them to 4 of 12 on third down, and our offense was 8 of 17. We had 3 sacks. They had none. So a lot of positive things to build off of. Certainly a lot of stuff to correct when the kids get in today, but that's a lot easier to do after a win for sure.
Talk about the resiliency. You mentioned learning about your team as it goes on. Talk about the resiliency coming off of those 5 turnovers in the first 16 or so minutes.
No, exactly. You talk about that because you don't know, how you're going to react until you react. Last week against Western Kentucky, you're up, right? You get a turnover, and then we couldn't ever get it stopped, and we couldn't keep making stop making the mistakes. And this week, you're down 17-0, but you're going to halftime up 24-20. So that's impressive. That's very encouraging. And we need to, have that in our back pocket if we need it again. But once again, you want to play a little bit cleaner.
Do you think that second drive where you kind of stopped them, they took over, I think, on your side of the field, you held them to a field goal, was that a big momentum?
Yeah, anytime there's a 3 that goes up there instead of a 7, then you know that's a half drive less that you got to make. No, that was big. That was, to play as bad and you still only see a teen number up there on the board was encouraging. So, I don't know if I've ever been a part of that now when you had 5 turnovers like that in the first half, but you're still winning. I think the last time, if I remember right, if you go back and look, was against Eastern Kentucky. I think it was 5 in the first half. We're playing for the conference champ. Winner takes the conference championship back in 2006 or whatever. And we had and fought back and lost by 2 or 3 there at the end. But I'd rather not find this stuff out about us. It eventually catch up with you.
What about Fufu's play? He's one of those 12-year guys that experience really paid off, I think, in the
Well, what a great play. A great play for him, and to end the game as a 6-year senior at home, and to get the big pick, and so proud of him. When you go through this statistic list on defense, and guys that have been here for us that are still making plays and invested in the program. John Ford, 7 tackles. Devin Sims, 5 tackles. Fufu with 5 tackles. And then you see some new guys that are program guys that have been with us second year. Andre Alexander with 4 tackles. Vincent Guy with a pick and a couple big pass breakups. So that probably excited me more than anything, was seeing some young guys on defense that haven't played before us, but due to injury or poor performance or attitude issues, they were in the game. And I give Chris Belize and our defense staff credit for making the right decisions, playing the guys that are invested in the program, and they went out there and made some plays. And you can't just keep, you just like when you raise your kids, you can't keep rewarding mistakes and attitude issues. All right, so we played some other guys, and they got some other opportunities, and get the win is very rewarding.
You talked about Devin Sims last week,
Mhm.
Western Kentucky not playing the game he was capable of playing.
Right.
Kind of righted the ship this week, appeared to.
Well, no, he did, and we have to have him play well. Now, there was one that he missed that he's got to close out on that ball on the sideline, where his two went inside, and we got a trap corner. So he needs to make that one, and I expect him to. But no, it is. If you look at Devin's success last year, he's always going to be first, second, or third for us in tackles with the position that he played. So that was good. That was encouraging to see.
Do you like your offensive balance right now? I think you're leading the conference in rushing yards.
Really? Yes and no. No. Would I like? Am I glad we're rushing the ball for over 200 yards a game? Absolutely. Do we? We want to make sure and getting 200 yards a game passing, right? That's encouraging. But we've got a ways to go in our pass game. We do. We need to. Colton Dowell's got to get the ball more. He's got to have more targets. Hopefully we'll get Donnell back. We'll see what that is. I mean, think about in that game the other night, Donnell's out. Tankersley goes out early, who was pressed into action as a starter. Gene, was kind of limited throughout the game. So Zoe Roberts, and proud of him, had two big catches for us. And D-Ray. D-Ray's been here for 4 years, and he practices so hard. And man, it's just rewarding to see him get in the game and contribute. And so, real proud of that.
Keon Howard, you made the comment last week too about the success of the run game really started with him. He had 16 carries tonight against Samford. Do you want him carrying the ball that much, or is that something you can live with?
Yeah, right. I don't think any head coach will say they want their quarterback carrying the ball 16 times, but that's how sometimes the game goes. All right, and there's a couple that he probably could have ended up under 10 on a couple of those, and that'd probably be better off for us. But he struggled early, made it. Now the RPO, they pop up and make the pick on, that happens. The sideline throw over there, him and the receiver are on the same page, but I need him to take care of that one. Then the other one was a no snap play on a freeze timeout, and center snapped it and shouldn't even snapped it. So it's fourth down. So he's trying to make a play, but that's not the play. So you hate to see that on a stat sheet. But I think it was a deal where he was determined he was going to right the ship with everybody fighting so hard. So if he had to put the running game on his back, he was willing to do that and take those hits. But he's a tough guy. He's a tough competitor, great leader.
What do you see in Northwestern State?
Went back and watched the 2019 game, okay, and that's that game kind of flipped too. I think we were down, 17 or so, early and fought back and got it figured out. They blitzed us a lot, and we got some run games, made a couple of big throws to Jalen Moore, caught one. So anyways, now you move forward, 2 years later, and, don't know, because we don't play them on a yearly basis, consistent basis. So I'm just looking at their scheme. Their scheme's a 3-down, 3-4 defense. They bring multiple looks and blitzes and coverages out of it. They give you a lot of motion and bunch, different things to prepare for on offense. And they're coming off a tough loss against, played well in a lot of spots against North Texas, and then they played well. Lost a tough one on the road to Alcorn this past week, I believe 13-10. The game could have gone either way. So just like we were glad to get home, they'll be glad to get home. All right, it's a 7.5 hour bus trip. All right, so a lot of things against you. The last two Louisiana teams have come up here, Northwestern State and Southeast Louisiana. We were able to get the win. So we've got to handle this trip. We've got to be excited to go on the road and have an opportunity to get an out of conference, to play for an out of conference win.
When you're looking at a potential playoff resume, these non-conference games are very important.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I mean, all of them are. And so it makes it for a tough schedule now. Then you look next week, you got Jacksonville State on the road who's just coming off beating Florida State. So, heck, that's, then Murray, you got after coming off an awful week who, 7-7 in the third quarter against Cincinnati. So, right now kind of try to erase that and just concentrate on the road trip. But I do want to say this. I want to thank, Kurt McGuffin and, Kurt McGuffin and Julius and, of course, Trudy and you guys and Laura for, what a great, and John Abel, what a great college, atmosphere for us this past Saturday. That was big time. Stadium looks nicer than it ever has, all the improvements and stuff, and that was a good atmosphere for a home game, with Parents' Day and the orange in the stands and stuff. That's the way it's supposed to look. Proud of that. I want to thank, Laura Brown being our faculty rep and, the things that her representing our athletic department and especially our football program and communicating to the other professors around campus, the hard work that our coaches and players do to try to help them fulfill, their goals of what they want to do academically and of degrees they want to chase and things they want to do in their life. And she understands all the hard work that goes into that and the loyalty to me and the program. I just really appreciate her and excited about, just the future of our program with, Kurt's leadership right now. I think we're headed in a great direction.